before free agency started, you talked a little bit about sort of what your desire was going into free agency. And there was probably speculation around the league that maybe you would, get traded or you would sign somewhere else. And you said, I know what my decision will be based off of, and that's where I feel like I can win. And then in your post signing, press conference or whatever, you talked about that you can win in DC. Are you lying? Was it more about the money?
Damn, JJ. No, I wasn't lying. I honestly feel like that. And it's very tough because you know very well, and just like I do, it's very tough to win, right? Only one team gets to win, and it's not like I'm sitting here saying, "Oh, we're going to hold up the ladder this year." Like that's not what I'm sitting here saying. But I do believe in what we're building, and do believe in what we have. I never had a chance to step on the floor with Porzingis. I think that could be an interesting duo. And then Kuz is constantly developing. And then the other pieces we adding Will Barton, adding Monte. So we added some guys who can be difference makers in our team. Actually be legit guys who fit into our system, and especially the way that Wes wants to coach and play too. So for me, it was just kind of figuring out where I fit best. The market was a little scarce this year too, so that kind of played a little bit factor into it as well. And sure enough, I feel like DC was it for me.
Was there ever any doubt? And you mentioned this free agent year in terms of cap space teams had and options maybe weren't there that they've been there other summers. Was there ever any doubt that you would come back?
I wouldn't say doubt, but I was definitely like being human and thinking about it, right? I was thinking about what it would be like on the other side on different teams and seeing what was available for me. I did do that, right? And like I said, the market was what it was, and it wasn't too promising. It wasn't necessarily where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. But end all be all, like I ended up staying, and I feel like that was the best decision for me. But it was. I'd be lying if I sat and say I wasn't human and didn't think about it.
Have you ever come close to not necessarily like bailing on DC, but just in terms of this notion of like you've got to team up with someone else, you've got to sort of use your agent and your power as a player to sort of finagle your way to a different situation with a specific guy?
I mean,
I'm not. You don't have to name a specific guy.
Those are tough. I mean, not to that extent, but I definitely. Like I think, right? I live in the present, right? And so I have a phone just like everybody else. I see people like, oh, you should go here. You know what it'd be like if you played with Jason. You know what it'd be like if you went to Brooklyn and you went to LA and went to Denver. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it would look good. Like I'm not going to sit and lie, but I also know that it has to, those deals, it's going to take a while for those things to get done. It's like you're going to offer up pretty much your whole team in order to get to where you want to get to. So it's kind of playing devil's advocate too in where you want to go and factoring all that into it. But it's a part of the game. Like it is a part of it. Like I definitely gave it some thought. Like I'd be lying if I said I didn't.
But I guess you mentioned having a phone.
Mm-hmm.
And Dame goes through this as well.
Right.
And I would kind of put you guys sort of in the same class of guys who have consistently been great for the team that drafted them and have had deep to deepish playoff runs and performed well in the playoffs, and also consistently signed on the dotted line when those extensions are available, right? But there's that noise, that pressure externally coming from Twitter. We were just talking about the talking heads on television. Does that ever enter into the equation for you?
No, you can't allow that to. I mean, you can hear it. I mean, I'm not sitting there saying that you don't, just like you said, but you see it, but you can't factor it into it. People are going to be fans of the game. Somebody's going to have an opinion. Somebody's going to be upset at the end of the day. You can't factor that into it. You have to do what's best for you and figure out what your happiness is. Can't do that. Yeah.
My question for both of you, JJ and I have talked about this a bunch, but we've talked about it with some other guys as well. It's like, is there ever a reason to not take the money when you think about how much money it is. I mean, it just is like, we have a ton of listeners and viewers of this thing, and it's like, just look at the numbers. Like, you guys can all look up what this is, and I just don't. It's not even specific to you or anything like that. But is there ever a reason to not do it? Because in my opinion, as a person not making this money, there is not. I just don't think there is. I think that you have a family.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you took a poll, right, and everybody, would you do this? Would you sign 5 years, 250?
Yes, you have a family.
Thank you for saying the number, because I was about to say it. I didn't want to make you feel bad, but I was going to also say the number.
It's just common sense. It just feels like common sense.
I feel you on that. I feel that, like, you definitely, like I said, people are going to have their opinion, so people are going to think that too. Like, damn, it's a common sense. Like, it's not rocket science. Everybody, like, just sign your deal and let that be that. But it's so much more than that. Is being here for 10 years, understanding what it's like to be a franchise guy. Not everybody has that opportunity. Not everybody's given that. And so I definitely take that on my shoulders very strongly and kind of challenge myself in that way, and kind of, why not here? Why not build it here? Why not do it here?
Yeah, I think the criticism, truthfully, is unfounded. And I'm not just saying that because I'm sitting on your couch here at your lovely home. I actually think Dame gets it worse. Maybe
100%.
You guys probably like a 3-year age gap. I think that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe he's a little older, whatever. He gets a worse. And he's been on record. He's mentioned the grind and loyalty and trying to win there. And being a champion at life.
Mm-hmm.
But he also says, like, of course I fucking want to win, right? We all want to win. We all want to be NBA champion.
100%.
We all, like, I wanted to be an NBA champion, and there's guys, we talked with Matt Barnes, who's like, I got at the end of my career and and he ended up winning with the Warriors, of course, but he's like, at the end of my career, I realized, like, I had always turned down more money to be on winning teams. Do I regret that? Maybe. Right? That enters into the equation. No, it does. It does. All these things enter the equation.
Yeah, it does.
But my question for you on that regard, though, with in about Dame is, like, are you prepared? Are you prepared? Because there's always I feel like there's always been rumors about you getting traded, and there's always these fan bases on Twitter, that come up with these trades and these dream scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
What, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, right? It always happens. Like, Brad's going to end up with us. But are you prepared for the criticism as this contract plays out?
Yeah. I mean, it comes with the territory.
You know what you signed up for.
Yeah, it comes with the territory. Like I said, everybody's going to have an opinion. If I should go 0 for 10 a game, somebody's, oh, wow. Well, look what they did. Like, it's going to happen. Like, I can't pay attention to that at all. That's what comes with the territory.
As always, thank you for listening to the show. Please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Wondery, wherever you listen to your podcast. We appreciate you guys.